Today we are talking about my top 5 tips to make your homebrew more like PRO Brew. In today's video, I want to share some wisdom that will take your homebrew from a beginner setup to an intermediate and potentially a professional setup. Number 1, buy yourself and invest in a proper stainless steel conical fermenter. It's one of the very best pieces of equipment that you can buy to improve the quality and efficiency of your homebrew. Here are the benefits of a conical fermenter. It protects your beer from UV light. It lets you manage your fermentation and your post-fermentation cellaring processes way better than any other homebrew vessel. You can drop your dry hops off the bottom. You can carefully dry hop through the top of the vessel without imparting any additional oxygen. And you can remove any waste byproducts of fermentation or dry hopping from the bottom without issue. It makes it very unlikely that you'll unintentionally oxidize your beer, as so often happens when you have your beer in a carboy. So if you really want to step up your game at home, make your brewing more efficient and more pro-like, make that investment, get yourself that conical fermenter. Number 2, get yourself a reverse osmosis filter. Little bit of an investment at home, not too terrible, but if you want to take your homebrew to the next level and make water profiles that are becoming of specific brewing regions or your own intention and texture in a beer, you have to start with a base of super clean water that allows you to build upon a template to make exactly what you want. And you can't do this if you don't have a reverse osmosis filter. Since the first 2 tips were a little bit expensive, the third tip I want to mention is actually free. This one's really important. You have to take detailed notes at home when you are making homebrew. It's one of the most valuable things that you can do. If you don't do it, you're not going to gain valuable insight from the time that you invest making your homebrew at home. One of the smartest things that I've done throughout Treehouse's history is all the way back to my homebrew trials in 2009, 10, 11. I have detailed notes about every batch of beer that I've ever brewed. In fact, Treehouse just released a beer called Curiosity 10 that we last brewed in October of 2014. And because I took super detailed notes, I was able to see what we did back then at the time and what we do now, reconcile the two together, and recreate that beer that I haven't made for a decade. So if you make a unicorn batch of beer and you forget to write down exactly and precisely what happened, the likelihood that you can remake that beer again is very low. So grab your notebook, grab your pen, make sure you document everything in great detail. You will not regret it. Number 4, use the best and freshest possible ingredients you can get your hands on. A lot of homebrew stuff is repackaged versions that come from a third party and they're handled multiple times, and they may not always be the freshest, but I encourage you to be extra diligent when sourcing your ingredients, ask questions of your homebrew suppliers, and try to get your hands on the best, freshest grain and freshest hops that you possibly can. We are spoiled at Treehouse on a commercial scale, and it was only when we had access to the freshest grain and the freshest hop selections that our beer really got to the next level. It wasn't until 2014, 2015, even 2016 and 17 that we had access to fresher, better ingredients, and the amount of quality increases that brought to our beer was astronomical. So beg, plead, get your hands on excellent ingredients when you can. Number 5, count your yeast cells, accurately pitch your yeast. When you're starting out, the idea of counting your yeast cells is a relatively arcane concept, but it's really not that difficult. There are plenty of videos on YouTube that explain to you how you do it. For the purposes of this video, you just need a good microscope, you need a hemocytometer, you need methylene blue, and you need distilled water. And from there, you can count your yeast cells. You can get a super accurate idea of viability in your yeast so that the outcome of your beer can be high quality and consistent. All right, so when you're in that homebrew vortex trying to take yourself from being a beginner to an intermediate, you'll ask yourself repeatedly, should I buy that conical fermenter? Should I invest in the microscope? Should I worry about the quality of my water? Should I worry about temperature control? And the answer to all those things is yes. These are the incremental improvements that'll take your beer from homebrew-like to PRO Brew-like. I want to thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.